This week on Case Studies with the Biz Doc, NFL Sunday Ticket. It was flying high one time, but it's in the middle of a renegotiation that will not include DIRECTV after over 25 years of marital harmony between the satellite provider and the league. We've got the whole story this week. NFL Sunday Ticket. It's been in the news here in the third quarter, fourth quarter of 2021. We're filming this right in the middle of NFL season, in the middle of fourth quarter 2021, and there's all this talk about how NFL Sunday Ticket is not going to be with DIRECTV anymore, and DIRECTV is in trouble. They're losing tons of subscribers as Over the Top is coming into the fore. So I thought it'd be a good time, maybe not do a case study, but a teardown of the history of NFL Sunday Ticket. Let's go. NFL Sunday Ticket starts on November 27th, 1994. That's when it was launched. I think it was 9 or 10 games per year, and it was launched exclusively on DIRECTV. And on June 17th, 1994, just a couple months before, DIRECTV was launched. At that time, it was in Hughes' domain, corporate domain, which was a division of General Motors. So never mind what happened to Hughes and the division of General Motors. DIRECTV launched 1994. By the end of the year, they had 320,000 subscribers, which is pretty good. And NFL Sunday Ticket was part of it, and they locked them together. They said the NFL only on DIRECTV. And for many years, that's the way it was. So let's see what happened and where it went, because there was other products that were added to it. Again, starting out with just 9 little channels, which were some of the most popular games. So if your team was really down one year, it was possible that for a couple of weeks, you wouldn't see them as the 9 games. And then it would come around that maybe you're going to play the Dallas Cowboys or Green Bay or a team that was on the up, and then your team would be there. I remember this time because I was a big Raider fan, still am, Raider Nation, baby, and my wife, I married a Niner fan. Remember, I would never marry somebody from the AFC. Enough of that. So let's break it down. I'm going to start with the subscriber growth of DIRECTV because Sunday Ticket was helping to drive that, because it was the only place that you could get NFL along with the NFL bonus products and bonus channels that I'm about to talk about. So let's start. I already mentioned that they had 320,000 subscribers to start. Well, by the end of 1996, 2 years later, they were at 2.3 million. And I'm going to jump 2 years at a time as we go down. 98, 4.5 million. 2000, Y2K problems didn't affect them. 9.5, then 11.2. So look at that. From 1994 to 2004, then 13, they're at 13 million subscribers. That's pretty amazing when you think of Cox, Comcast, and all the other cable players that DIRECTV had 13 million subscribers 10 years after launch. 2006, it was 16. 2008, it was 17.6. Then 19.2. Then, so I'm going to refer to this in parallel as the golden era of Sunday Ticket. Here you have DIRECTV goes from 300,000 subscribers at that first year, and then 2010, they're almost at 20 million subscribers. That was DIRECTV. Now let's back up and look at two things. One, what was happening with Sunday Ticket, and what was happening with over-the-top and digital streaming. Because I think that DIRECTV missed the boat on seeing what was coming on both of those. First, we have the golden era for Sunday Ticket. Long time ago, you would get 1 or 2 live football games in the morning and 1 or 2 live football games in the afternoon on one of the big 3, CBS, NBC, or Fox. And they would rotate on who owned the league and who had paid to be the NFC and AFC channel. But you could get 2 games a day on one channel, 2 games a day on another channel. And then you on ABC, you had Monday Night Football. And ABC launched Monday Night Football roughly an hour and a half after Christ left Earth and ascended to heaven. So it's been there forever. Then you had ESPN was doing a Sunday night game way back like 98. And then NBC would win that contract in 2006 for Sunday Night Football with ESPN. The reason they jumped off here is they picked up from ABC Monday Night Football. So in 2006, you had 2 broadcast channels because ESPN is on every cable. If you get cable, you get ESPN. It's practically a national broadcast channel, even though NBC, CBS, ABC were actually over the air, so an antenna on your roof could get it as well. But nonetheless, there you had 2 options there to get special programming in addition to 2 games in the morning, 2 games in the afternoon on 2 channels. So you had every week away from DIRECTV, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games that you could watch out of the 14 to 16 that were on television, the full slate. In 2003, HD came along. So on DIRECTV, I think it was about half the games. I remember this because I was a Sunday ticket subscriber. You know, my wife looking for the Niner games and I was looking for the Raider games when we didn't live in LA. Then in 2005, the Mix channel, where you could select 8 and they would be on a mix so you could kind of watch what's going on and immediately jump to one. Then on 2006, they started something that was a real hit, the Red Zone, with, I think it was Andrew Siciliano, if I'm pronouncing that right. And he was the host there. But Red Zone would jump around as something exciting was about to happen. It was also good for fantasy because if you were a fantasy player long before fantasy tracking, you would love the Red Zone because you could see the moment that players were getting points, except for defensive touchdowns and except for, defensive sacks and stats like that. But the offensive players, when you got in the red zone, you wanted your tight end, your quarterback, your running back to be getting yards, getting touchdowns, getting points. And red zone was just plain entertaining. You could sit and watch it and enjoy the NFL for an afternoon, even if your team wasn't on and you weren't watching. 2008, they go with fantasy tracker, and then here we are between 2009 season and 2010. They progressed so that all games, not just some games, were in high def. So now you can see in 2010 here, this has been around for about 15 years, from 1994 to 2010. You're 15 years into this. It's the golden era. Red Zone is a hit. All games in HD was fabulous. And even though they didn't have all the games, you still had 6 games that were outside of NFL Sunday Ticket. In other words, you didn't need an NFL Sunday Ticket to see those 6 games. And those games were a slate that, hey, Monday Night Football was cherry-picking good games. You know, when the Niners and Dallas was both good, they wanted Cowboys and Dallas to be on Monday Night Football. So they always attempted to pick good games, even though Monday Night Football, they were always saying, hey, there'll be something for everybody. Cleveland will be on, Miami in a down year will be on. There was a little bit of that, but for the most part, these were good and better games. Nonetheless, if you wanted the whole slate and all these things, you went with DIRECTV. Now, what was also happening during this golden era? We have to pay attention because the first set of lessons I'm going to get to, and I'm going to do them right now, was that exclusivity worked. When you handcuffed the NFL to DIRECTV, it helped them sell a lot of these satellite dishes at Best Buy and other places, or just buy it yourself and put it on yourself. It allowed you to get access to this premium sports product. So exclusivity kind of worked. And there was also, they were substituting acquisition costs. In other words, the attraction of the NFL helped sell it. So you could say part of the NFL Sunday Ticket license early on was marketing cost. So those are my first 2 lessons, and I think those lessons were pretty good, which is why I call this the golden era. It worked for DIRECTV, it worked for the fan, and it worked for the NFL, who not only cast a check, but the popularity of the NFL and broadcasting the NFL, it was a win. Well, what was happening in the background between right up here to 2010? Well, first of all, Netflix announced Watch Now, where you could actually watch online, streaming online. Then iPhone announced they were going to be added to Netflix, and Netflix says in 2009, 2010, their messaging starts saying, listen, gang, we're primarily a streaming company now, primarily a streaming company. All those Netflix envelopes come into your mailbox and back, select the movie you wanted to rent. We are now primarily a streaming company. And then in 2011, Amazon announced instant video. So now things are starting to happen out here. Things are starting to stream because now you can see the iPhone's been out in the market for quite a while. Bandwidth is really improved by this time. And you've got both Amazon and Netflix allowing you to do it on your phone. The question being, why can't I do other things on my phone? Now let's step in to what I call the 5 years of the great strategic misread by DIRECTV. First, I don't think the lesson here, I don't think they were paying attention, and I think time and technology were catching up with DIRECTV, and that Sunday Ticket product was not nearly going to be as valuable. Watch what happens. So in 2011, DIRECTV, Sunday Ticket, says that if you can show that you can't get line of sight or your apartment building won't allow it, we will allow you to get Sunday Ticket stream on some tablets and some devices or some computers. But you had to go through a process that was tough to do, where you had to practically beg and prove that you couldn't get a DIRECTV dish on your house so you could get Sunday Ticket here. Then they announced Max for the NFL Sunday Ticket, and that was the next to the last significant product, the most significant one being Fantasy Zone, which really upgraded Fantasy Tracker in 2014. But also, let's take a look what was happening in the cable and satellite world. All of this streaming was having an impact. Take a look here, from 8 to 10 over 2 years, 17.6 to 19.2 million. Then I go to 1 year increments so that you can see what happens. I was 2 year increments to here. 1 year, only 300,000 added, 19.5, 19.9, 20.0, in other words, basically flat, 20.3, 20.8 in 2015, 2016, 21.2, 2017, 21. Boom. The market goes from flat to tipped. Jump the shark. It's a TV term that refers to an old series that was on TV where the character jumped the shark, and that was like the highlight of the ratings for that show. The show went down in ratings as the public became increasingly disinterested after many years on the air. And so jump the shark refers to the point at which in TV land and cable and satellite land you start to slip and you start to lose viewership, and your peak, your best days are behind you. Well, boom, they jumped the shark, goes to 21, but watch what happens. In 2018, from 21 to 19.6, that's a big number, to 18.7 to 15.4. In 2021, they ended 12.5 million subscribers. Well, if there's only 12.5 million subscribers, how many people are subscribing to NFL Sunday Ticket? There was a leak that came out that said there was only 2 million subscribers for Sunday Ticket toward the end of 2021, and at about $350 a year, which seemed expensive, that was about $700 million. Wait a minute, let's step back. They renewed in 2014 for $1.5 billion a year, ending in 2022, which is why right now there's all the news and everything about who's going to get the NFL Sunday Ticket, how is it going to be distributed to, fans now, what's going to happen. So that's why I call this the strategic misread. With all of this here, you saw the flattening here. This is fuel for desperation. And what I mean by that, the numbers for DIRECTV are shifting. So with all that knowledge, they renewed in 2014 for $1.5 billion a year, ending at the end of this season, 2021. So for 2022, who's going to have it? Well, I look at all this, and this is a down. So this is a damn. Look what happened to this. There is no big damn this week. This is just, damn, you saw all that, but you still renewed for this? What sort of desperation? And take a look at what was happening. You already saw your subscriber base really flattening out, and just 1-2 years, like 18 months after they renewed, suddenly the death of DIRECTV starts happening. So if you don't think going from 21 million to 12.5 million isn't cue up Ted Nugent, dog eat dog, kamikaze from the 100th floor, swan dive to the street, he couldn't handle this madness no more. So anyway, here we go with the renewal, and a lot of customers like me and the Biz Doc babe are no longer getting Sunday Ticket. And as a matter of fact, kids in our household aren't really interested in football. As a matter of fact, that's very true about Brooker. And she kind of saw us lose interest in Sunday Ticket. I wonder, what would Brooker think? What would Brooker think? What would Brooker think?
Hi, Brooker here. Just a couple of years ago, my parents watched Sunday Ticket all day. They liked Red Zone and the guy with the big ears. My mom liked to watch the Niners, and my dad was all about Raider Nation, but I don't know why though. So now they don't get Sunday Ticket. Sunday Ticket is like a toy, you stopped playing with it. You moved on. As I understand it, DIRECTV is dying and Sunday Ticket is expensive. And without it, my dad doesn't have to go through Raider Nation drama every week. That's my 2 cents.
Okay, I'm back. Where were we? My wife and I suddenly became non-subscribers right around 2014. I think it was 2014. No, 2015 was our last season. And now we're very happy to get a ton of games that we want from a variety of places. What did those include? The NFL added a Thursday Night Football product. So now Thursday, Sunday, Monday, two broadcasts. Suddenly now you've got 7 games that are out of the 16 that are available to you. Then 2018, Verizon, which had bought Yahoo, and through Yahoo Sports, they were selling to Zs and millennials only on their phones, and you could actually get NFL on your phone because there was something between the NFL and DIRECTV where this was mobile and streaming and this was satellite. The NFL was slowly starting to carve up the rights, which means the exclusivity benefit was less of a benefit to DIRECTV. Yet they renewed for $1.5 billion a year. Damn. With all the stuff they had out in front. Then now Verizon has said they're not renewing the games on the phones. They're just going to be the 5G technology partner of the NFL and equip stadiums to have really great bandwidth. Okay, wasn't that interesting? The end of the 21 season, that's it for DIRECTV. The end of the 21 season, that's it for Yahoo Sports and Verizon. Suddenly, the NFL has everything on the table, and the NFL is rumored, and I don't have the name up here, the NFL really wants Apple to get in the game, and they want this to be Apple. ESPN Plus, the head of ABC, Robert Iger, has often said, I'd really like to see ESPN Plus get the whole set of games. He's been losing subscribers too, so maybe this is what he sees as an over-the-top way to boost the fortunes of ESPN Plus. Maybe Amazon wants to go take a look, but the NFL is rumored to really crave Apple, and that there's a variety of things going on, such as, hey, if you're a Raider Nation fan, just pay for the Raider games. Now you can get all your out-of-market games. If the Raiders aren't one of these 7 that you can get through, through Fox and NBC and ABC, through the games that are on basically broadcast television each week, although NFL is a special channel that you got to get to, but basically available nationwide without any other subscriptions. Maybe that would be interesting. So there's a lot of rumors going on about this. Is it going to be a bidding war? Is the NFL going to get $1.5 billion a year? Or is this going to be a more creative way where someone like an Apple or an Amazon steps in and says, hey, there'll be different packages. You want the full Sunday ticket? You can buy it just like regular, even though you only really want it for 10 games out of the 16, because everything else you can get. Or maybe you just want it to guarantee that you can get your favorite teams. So possible. Or maybe you just want it to guarantee you can get your teams. There's a lot of things going out here. But I think right now, this is the last chapter. From 16 to 21, when the subscribers crashed, I basically think it's what have we done? Zed's dead, baby. That's it for DIRECTV, and so that's it for the fortunes of Sunday Ticket. Whatever great benefit they got during the golden year, they're just writing checks every year of $1.5 billion, the last of which was written this year, and that's it. Look at this, $1.5 billion written, $700 million collected, down to 12.5 million subscribers. So the NFL will live on, and it'll be available somewhere because there's people that are going to pay for the NFL. They're just not going to be paying $350 a year for Sunday Ticket from a single provider. But the NFL will be here, and there'll be more ways to get it. But this is really the story of Sunday Ticket that once upon a time was a wonderful, wonderful product that got exclusivity, that was good for the NFL, good for the fan, and good for DIRECTV. Then we go into the strategic misread as streaming and other competitors came to fore. And then finally the, my God, what have we done? We're just sitting here bleeding money, bleeding subscribers, and the Sunday Ticket and DIRECTV, sayonara, baby. That's what I think about NFL Sunday Ticket, but what do you think? Have I fumbled or have I scored? I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. I'll try to answer as many as I can. While you're there, please subscribe to Valuetainment, the best channel on the internet for entrepreneurial content or teardowns of old companies such as NFL Sunday Ticket. And if you like this breakdown of the satellite product NFL Sunday Ticket, maybe you go check this out where I break down Disney+. Until next time, I'm Tom Ellsworth, the Biz Doc. I hope I left you better than I found you.